as an opportunity for the ecosystem of Cardano. Okay, so you'll see a lot of great presenters today. And the flow is going to be a quick intro by myself. Then we're going to go into impact communities, impact projects, and then impact evaluation, media, and Harry is going to kind of bring it all together. COP27, that was last week, basically said that $1 trillion a year is needed to fight climate change. I mean, this is a huge opportunity, obviously, for us. We all understand that the challenges that the money, how we trace the money, how we trace the impact. And so it's really for the users, the biggest opportunity that Cardano has today. And while we are here, many of us came to Cardano because we want to make the world better for all, work better for all. We're all connected because the people that we meet, and we saw this incredible energy in this event, how people come and speak about things that we are building and projects we are doing. And that's really what brings us all in. So it's much is the objective. What Cardano4Climate does, I mean, we connect people like we do here, collaboration between people. We onboard a lot of people to the ecosystem, impact companies, and impact projects. We onboard them, we support them in connecting them to the right channels and onboarding them. And we help them get financed as well. And we host events, a lot of online events, if people join us as well as these events. We're actually quite active under the hoods also in this summit. We organize several key events. One of them will be today at 3:30 at the main stage, but also about 4 or 5 sessions and events in this summit were organized by the team. Good, and I want to now move to the incredible projects that are presenting. So each one will present in a few minutes, and we'll start with the incredible Mercy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mercy, and I'm from Wada. So in Wada, we strongly believe that where Cardano grows Africa, it actually grows Cardano. There are so many reasons why Africa is the place to be, or the place to work when it comes to blockchain, decentralized work, Web3. It's a chaotic place. It's easy to just get up and get stuff done. But with it being what it is, it still has a lot of barriers. And that is the reason that we are Wada. We had Cardano wanted to bank the unbanked. Cardano wanted to focus on Africa. So that's what brought us to Cardano. And sometimes we think that we have to come remind Cardano about their first love, that Africa is a place to be. As I said, there are a lot of barriers, but the work is worth it in terms of decentralization. So when we look at the African continent, there are lots of opportunities coming up right now. People are beginning to see the potential in Africa in terms of fintech, agritech, logistics, lots of startups in terms of the investments. When we look at key developments, we have the African Free Trade Area that was ratified last year. And what that means, previously, because of history, Africa has been very discreet in terms of not a lot of communication across the board. But with the African Continental Free Trade, it gives opportunity for Africa to sort of work together. And that is why we think that it is important to focus on Africa. So in Wada, what we do is to build inclusive systems. One of our key missions is to connect African developers and entrepreneurs to the Cardano ecosystem. When we look at our 3 pillars, we actually like to start from the bottom, businesses and enterprise. And I know that is all we want. We want to build on the Cardano blockchain. But before we can do that, we need to remove or work with some of the, we need to create awareness in Africa, it's not very easy when people are trying to figure out how they will eat and things like that. It's not easy for them to just go on the internet, surf and find out what is new. So a lot of the things that we do is actually an awareness creation and education. And then when it comes to infrastructure, it's the same. Data is very expensive. Electricity is not very consistent. So these are things that we are looking for new ways to help address. So this is something that sometimes when I stand here, Mercy, Wada, everybody thinks that, oh, look at what she did. No, it's a group of amazing people on the ground. They see opportunity and they take advantage of it. So that's the reason that I'm here to talk to you about these people on the ground that actually wants to build. 30 seconds. Okay, I think this is the final slide. So far, we've done a lot of work. We've reached about 10,000 in-person or virtual events. A lot of these people are in Catalyst, they put in proposals. And Catalyst has been amazing in terms of helping us to be decentralized because people actually do it from where they are and then they get it done. We're active in Ghana, so that's the list there. For the summit, we in 2021, there were 3 host sites. In 2022, there were 8. Next year, we are hoping that there will be many more. So we are looking for your support. We are looking for, working together, delegations to our stakeholders. We are training teams on the ground, and we are ready to work.
Hey everybody, my name is James Dunseith. I'm one of 3 co-founders of an organization called Gimbalabs. And what we do is we grow everybody's collective capacity to build with Cardano. We do 3 things in particular. We make sure to build the most robust open source decentralized API layer. We provide free and open source project-based education. And we are right now building components that work on the Cardano blockchain for projects like yours. So let's start with the first one, the API layer. We call it Dandelion. We love metaphors at Gimbalabs. A gimbal is a balancing device. Girolamo Cardano himself was the one who defined this term, so that's our connection to this ecosystem. And we believe in Dandelion. We believe in scattering opportunity, not worrying about how much of it we capture. So we have this robust blockchain layer, and there's other ones out there. You've heard of Bitcoin, Ethereum, et cetera. And we have end users. And often there's something in between. You might have heard what happened 2 weeks ago with a big exchange that was at this layer right here. And one of the greatest problems of our time is as these tools, these robust tools come online, ownership of this layer is where a lot of power plays are going to happen. They're happening in Cardano right now. They're happening on other blockchains right now. And our goal is to help distribute as much as possible control of that layer. Just to give you a quick example, one component of this layer is a submission API. You build the transactions, interact with Cardano. If there's only one submit node, it doesn't matter how many state pools there are. But as long as there's as many as possible, we can't be censored. Now you may understand what I'm talking about. These words might mean something to you or not. If they don't, that's why we provide project-based learning. What do people need to know in order to start building on Cardano? There's a lot of technical things. There's new technical tools that people have to learn, but there's also brand new ways of working together. The ways we interact financially are going to change. They're already changing right before our eyes. The ways we co-govern opportunities are changing right before our eyes. And we have the opportunity right now to see if we can make sure this means something to people who haven't had power before. I don't know how long our opportunity is. It's urgent to make sure that we get these tools in the right people's hands. And we all know that education is very important. I come to this work as a high school math teacher. So I thank you for being so kind. You're not like a room of 14-year-olds. Great. So, but what I learned in my career is that project-based learning is the only way to really do something. And every time you engage in project-based learning, you learn so much more than just the content that's being taught. So if you want people to learn new financial systems and new governance structures, you engage in this. And sure, yeah, do you teach them some stuff about how Cardano works? You're damn right you do. But along the way, they're learning how to interact. They're learning how to be this new class of decision makers. So we show people how to use Cardano and Plutus, how to use that API layer, how to build front ends. We have a mastery process. This is kind of the process we go through at a high level. And when people finish our course, they get a token that says you did the course. And that token uses the technology that's native to Cardano to allow people to start contributing to other projects. And every time they do, it creates a transaction that starts to build up people's reputation from the ground up. Does that data mean anything? We all get to decide. So here's an example of a dApp that people learn how to build in our course. You can put some funds in a treasury, you can start building things up. This is completely open source. There's a version of it right here, but one of the things we teach in our course is how everybody can create their own instance of this. There's not going to be a single gateway. There's going to be thousands of gateways for all sorts of different concerns to get involved in the ecosystem. I'm probably over time already, so thank you for listening.
There's going to be two of us presenting. So just to introduce myself, I'm Natalie Robinson, and with me is Dzhuliana. I'm the co-founder and CEO of OneUpOneDown. Dzhuliana is the co-founder and CTO of OneUpOneDown. Previous slide. We don't get the first slide. Oh, maybe I'll explain. That's okay. So yesterday we were in a session which was speaking about the Catalyst Charter. And we were talking about values, and one of the values that we discussed was the difference between equality and equity. And someone brought up an image that showed two pictures. One was three people standing on the box with, each of the individuals were different heights. The boxes were the same, and the result was that you still just had three people at different heights, slightly higher. That was described as equality. On the other side, there was equity. And equity was the boxes were assigned to the person based on their height. So the shorter person had a larger box. What we really believe in is giving, helping and teaching people how to build their own boxes so that they can create more equal opportunities in any scenario. And we're doing this through mentorship. Mentorship is an ancient practice for exchanging knowledge and networks, and we're supercharging it using modern technology. I think we've actually got an old version of the slides, but that's fine. We'll keep going. Next slide. So this is the version of the app that we currently have, and how it works is we use data to predict and make meaningful relationships. So we take into consideration our users' current reality and desired reality with data, and we're building a machine learning model to match mentors' current reality with mentees' desired reality. We've created a structure which maximizes value exchange without having mentorship relationships drag out, which can happen. So each match is 3 months, and the requirement is for mentor and mentees to meet for 4 times. So we've got almost 1,000 women signed up. We've been collecting data and learning what makes a great match, and we've been building this into a machine learning model. Next slide. So now what we're looking at doing is figuring out how we can incentivize behaviors within the network using tokenomics and smart contracts. And what we ultimately want to do is recognize the contributions our users make to the network and reward them in a way that can become valuable. An example of this is creating quantifiable data that can be used for recruitment purposes, or having mechanisms for mentors to become equity token holders is another example, but we're not sure if that will be valuable. We're figuring it out. But that's the basis for the tokenomics model you can see on the screen. We've developed our first smart contract in collaboration with James from Gimbalabs, which is an example of the amazing collaboration that can happen within this network. And we'll be presenting that at a workshop actually immediately after this. So building within the Cardano blockchain and within this ecosystem is enabling the vision that we have for our product and network. Our hope is that Cardano will become the blockchain for education-based protocols, and we have seen some promising signs of this weekend. So we have to race to another presentation immediately after this. If this is interesting to you, please reach out and connect. It's Dzhuliana at OneUpOneDown.org, Natalie at OneUpOneDown.org. I have to say we are raising capital to scale up now. I would get kicked if I didn't say that. So if this is of interest to you and you're an investor, please get in touch. And we are recruiting women mentors and mentees always. So I want to say a big thank you to Cardano4Climate for enabling this session, and thank you for listening.
Yeah, very dynamic slide.
I think it was our fault.
Hello, we are two littlefish from Littlefish Foundation. Do you realize that the world that we live in today, we don't have so much control on where we work, how we work, and how we schedule our works. So, I'm sorry, now, those things are mostly controlled by the organizations, governments, or corporations. Now with the blockchains, we have the chance to change this all and concentrate on individual goals. So as a part of this new ecosystem, we call ourselves Littlefish Foundation, and we experiment on working and living with our own values. So I can say that we are all little fish, but we are not organized. Now we have the tools and the technology to organize and get together. How? Chakan will explain.
So who are these little fish? These little fish live much different lives. They are part of many communities. They're part of many projects. They go from place to place. They work on their own schedule. They don't have this 9-to-5 nightmare, I call, like some people may disagree. They have great freedom to select where and how they focus their attention. So the key is they need to self-manage. Modern little fish, they need to self-manage. These people are usually fully remote. They may be digital nomads, maybe dreaming about becoming digital nomads once they figure out the financial bits. So this is fundamentally different. This individual is fundamentally different than the one who works in a classical traditional organization where you have to go 9 to 5. This person is living a different life. But the organizations that host this type of person, this type of work, they need to be different as well, because the individual is just so fundamentally different. But we just assume it's just going to work, but it's not. So what changes is all the business processes need to change. So you got to take a new look at how you make decisions, because these people don't like bosses. So if you're going to tell them, this is how we do things, that's not going to go, that's just going to go away. So you're going to have to build communities around these projects, because that's just how it is. You need a community to pull people in and build with you. And you need to do that consistently and well. So that's something that classical business don't know anything about. And you got to have a completely new onboarding experience. And that's one of the things that we've been focusing on. It's one of the earliest problems that we stumbled into, and all decentralized organizations, run into, all communities run into. So the onboarding process here is much different from traditional organizations, as in these onboarding processes are a filter rather than teaching someone who you've already hired, already locked into your system, to learn about your system. But instead, it's the filter. You got to bounce off people who don't align with your values, and you got to pull in those guys who really align with your values and who want to build with you. So to do that, what we figured out was this thing. Maybe some of you are familiar with it. It's called Ikigai, or maybe a simplified version of the Ikigai, which contains 4 things: what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. So once you bring those 4 things and bring your organization in, that's a whole onboarding process. And we're starting off with publicizing it a little bit with our survey. Please take the survey. It only takes 2 minutes. And at the end, there's a link tree with all our links. And we invite you all to our 1-year anniversary on the 28th. Hope to all see you there. And if you need the link later on, I'll be right there.
Hi, my name is Yosef. I'm the founder of Gamma Earth. A big part of what we are talking here is environmental impact. This is seems to be a very significant topic right now. The issue is that environmental impact is quite difficult to measure, and I believe unless we know how to measure impact, and environmental impact in particular, it will not going to work. There's enormous amount of money is being allocated for a variety of projects, but unless these projects are held accountable and you can measure what is the result of their work, it will be a waste of money, and we need change, obviously. We need the environmental impact. So the idea is, this idea is not new, to use satellite imagery and environmental data to measure environmental impact of a variety of projects. However, collecting and processing this data is very, very complex. There are a variety of satellite imaging systems out there flying around the Earth, but getting this data, processing this data, systematizing this data is a big challenge. So the idea here, what we are trying to build, what we are building, is creating a system that will aggregate environmental data from Earth observation satellites and weather data into some sort of form of data set that is one, consolidated, regularized, cleaned, prepared for a variety of analytical algorithms for AI in particular, but also forms this visually compelling data set that we call Echo Mandala. You can see a little bit of explanation of what this data contains, but basically there are a few cycles like in the mandala where we took the inspiration from. This is basically a cycle of 12 years of environmental data and a cycle of 1 year of environmental data that creates this very, I believe, very beautiful image. And actually all environmental data, relevant data about this particular site is contained in this image. And so you can, in principle, use it as an NFT for a particular site, but actually all environmental data is contained in this image from which you can calculate environmental impact of this project. So I think this can help significantly to promote accountability and measuring impact and transparency of these various projects. So this is just to illustrate this, pretty much any piece of land on Earth. So this image, this data data set is very sensitive. This picture is very sensitive to how each site looks like and its history over a period of 1 year and 12 years. So pretty much any piece of land will look, there will be absolutely unique image that will represent this particular site. And this has been already used in a variety of applications such as deforestation, reforestation, forestation monitoring, regenerative agriculture, crop classification, weed detection in precision agriculture. In more recently, assessment, unfortunately, assessment of environmental damage from warfare in Ukraine. So this is for you how a field looks like after shelling, and all of this damage needs to be measured. So the perpetrators, in this case, Russian Federation, is held accountable for the damage they did. So thank you.
Hello, friends. My name is Petr Van Gardner, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Landano project. My other fellow co-founder, Doris Spinacroft, is in the room as well. What we are working on and addressing a specific problem is that right now there's 1 billion people around the world that have a legitimate claim to land, but they don't have the documents to prove it. And that creates a whole cycle of problems. First and foremost, over 1 billion people are going to sleep at night wondering if somebody's going to violently remove them from their home the next day, whether there's somebody's going to sell their house behind their back in a fraudulent way. Whether somebody will claim their crops or their business. As you can imagine, this creates huge anxiety and makes it very difficult to plan for the future for yourself and for your children. But even more fundamentally, what research has proven, I don't know if some of you might be familiar with the book written by Hernando de Soto about 20 years ago called The Mystery of Capitalism. And the research that he did proposed a thesis is that the marginalized poor remain poor. There's intergenerational poverty, because they can't leverage the rights they have in land to take the next step up on the financial ladder. So most of us in the global north take for granted that if we can show a claim to land, we can get a mortgage. I can get a line of credit. I can now have money for running my business. That basic fundamental step is missing for all those people that don't have good land right documentation. The theory is that if we can give them that, we can now get them started on this financial mobility ladder and essentially have a powerful instrument for anti-poverty action. So what we're doing, my background myself, I've worked 20 years in the digital archives industry. I'm fairly well known there. I've built these free open source platforms for managing electronic records that's used by major international organizations worldwide. I spent many years studying requirements, best practices, writing about this topic, and I'm applying that same knowledge now to the Web3 space and the blockchain space, and in particular to this use case on how to make really good standards compliant, legally compliant land right records that happen to use Cardano NFT minting as an additional veracity credibility proof. There have been projects in the past that have attempted to use blockchain to address the land registry problem. Landano is unique and different in one very specific way. We're working with local traditional communal leaders in Africa. There's countries in Africa that have a pluralistic legal system. Post-colonization, they define their own constitutions, and they give equal legal weight to the colonist legal system as well as to the traditional communal system that's been in practice for millennia on the continent, where the traditional communal leaders, the village chief, the family head, has full authority and decides on behalf of the community how land is allocated and used. In Ghana and Mozambique, that authority has equal legal weight to a legal document, but it's a completely verbal system. So we're working hand in hand with village chiefs to formalize this verbal system and give them high quality, standards compliant legal records that happen to include Cardano NFTs. And that's not an ends to, that's an ends to means, because once we have that, now we have these NFTs that can act as financial primitives. So now we can open the door to DeFi lending. Lending on the continent of Africa is very predatory. There's like mortgage rates of 30%, ridiculous things like that. Obviously, you can offer much better opportunities, micro lending opportunities at much better rates from the Cardano DeFi community. So that's essentially our goal. That's how we're doing things differently. Yeah, we have a pilot project in Ghana, Mozambique right now. It's very important to us that our local collaborators on the ground tell us what they need. And we've been very fortunate to have Catalyst funding and Fund 7, Fund 8 to drive this work forward. And now we're getting to the stage where we're just completing our MVP and looking to branch out with additional funding opportunities. So come talk to us if you're interested in able to help with that. Did I do it in time?
Yeah.
Everybody, my name is Seán Lynch. I'm the founder of Open Litter Map, and we're turning cleaning the planet into a game. It's like Pokemon Go for people who pick up litter. So all around the world, there's about 3 billion people who have access to a powerful device that can collect data. We have yet to scratch the surface of this data collection. So we have learned how to use our devices to share information on social media. And this is really powerful because suddenly hundreds of millions of people share and consume information. And suddenly there was this huge global awakening of plastic pollution, particularly in the oceans, that changed corporate political dialogue globally almost overnight. But our technology, although powerful, has a dark side. Our technology has become incredibly addictive. It's distracting and it separates us from the very real world around us. What we're trying to do with citizen science is to remove the technology from our faces and use this incredibly designed technology that's perfectly positioned to actually make real world measurements and observations about the world around us. We've people from all around the world, from all corners, who just pick up litter every day. But what we're doing is we empower people to measure and map and communicate their impact. And when you can communicate your impact, you can reflect on your real world value and your potential, and you're no longer siloed. You get to communicate the impact that you're making in your local community. So if you visit our global map, you can zoom in anywhere and you can see what all of the litter looks like when it's mapped. And if you remember when Google Earth was released, the first thing that most people did was they just zoomed into where they live. And it's my opinion that if we can map all of the litter and plastic pollution in a local context, it brings that message of a far away problem home and puts it in people's real world situation in their backyard. So to extend the project then, I've come up with the litter coin reward. And this is not like anything else that I've seen in crypto. It's the first token that I believe that's rewarded for collecting data about the environment. And we're trying to do everything different. So we won't be listing this token on any exchange. You can't buy this token. And the only way you can get litter coin is to go out there and do the work and prove that you've done it. And that's the way to get, it's the only way to get the litter coin. And what we're doing is we have a smart contract that's about to launch soon that accumulates ADA. So we're asking mission-driven stake pools to put some ADA into the smart contract to give every litter coin value. And then we find merchants in the climate economy, like zero waste stores or other organic farms, and we send them a merchant-approved NFT. And if these merchants in the climate economy hold this NFT, they're the only people who can put the litter coin into the smart contract and get the ADA out. So we're creating a climate currency to tackle plastic pollution at source. So as I said, we're trying to turn cleaning the planet into a game. We're trying to make it fun and easy for anyone to map and measure and communicate and reflect on their impact. I think that's very powerful. So yeah, to close, I'm trying to launch a new thing for the crypto ecosystem. So as we all know, our industry has some big problems in the media right now, and we need a good news story. So no matter how much time you have in your hands, I hope anyone can take just one single minute and join us for the crypto cleanup. And let's show the world a good news story about crypto and use our technology for good. Thanks for
Hello, everyone. So my name is Simon Selstrom. I recently graduated from Oxford with an economics degree. And throughout my life, I've been very fortunate. I've been given a lot of opportunities, and a lot of it has been thanks to, frankly, the lottery of life. I happen to be born in a very stable country. And I saw, when I was 15, I lived in China for a year, and I saw really how this is not something that people have a very tough life. And so through Cardano and through Project Catalyst, I was given the opportunity to work on something I find meaningful and impactful, and that is the Directed Development Foundation. So what we do is direct donations. We facilitate training and scholarships to students in sub-Saharan Africa to learn the most sought-after digital skills on the market. We use smart contracts and decentralized identifiers to achieve all this. Now, what is really the problem that we're addressing here? On one level, or fundamentally, boils down to, did my donation make a difference when it comes to like charitable donations? Because very often we go around the world and we donate to various things. You might, firstly, you might ask yourself, well, how much of this is actually reaching the student? Secondly, is it actually making any difference? Is it actually transforming the lives of these people that you're supporting? So to address this, before I go to this massive slide, we first started by looking at scholarships generally for education, but a lot of the education infrastructure and institutions are lacking in sub-Saharan Africa, and people go through the education. I spoke to one of my colleagues now, who did the degree, 3 years in Ethiopia. When he was looking for remote jobs, he said the things that gave opportunities were the things I learned myself online using free materials. But very few of the students are aware of these opportunities. And even if they are, they don't have the computers or infrastructure. So So very simply put, what we first do is we set up scholarship pools for specific schools and for specific coding courses. Full stack Java, Kagoma High School in Nairobi, okay? What we then do is we have a selection into this coding bootcamp. It's a 10-week, very intensive, very demanding bootcamp. As the students reach milestones, they get a disbursement of the scholarship fund. So that way, as a donor, you have an assurance now that only if there's the impact do the students actually get the scholarship. So you create accountability and incentive mechanisms, but also assurance as a donor, because you don't want to just end up the money. Then they fund employment. As they do that, part of the money that they're earning from it goes back to the scholarship pool. So this way we get a self-perpetuating cycle of funding for future scholars. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we need to have rigorous impact evaluation. It is extremely important that you have independent researchers that help you with all of this. And so we're partnering with the Central for Global Development to help us with this quantifiable. So, why is this a great opportunity for Cardano? First of all, this is the first identity-aware smart contract, combining self-sovereign identities with crypto. Second of all, we're showcasing real-world using utility on the ground in Africa. I'm going myself next week to Kagoma High School and Kotebe University in Addis. And lastly, it is a mechanism to finance the training of thousands of crypto developers in a scalable manner. Thank you for your time.
Hola a todos. First of all, I want to thank you for your dedication and time to use blockchain technologies to solve the problems that truly matter. My name is Vito. I'm a software engineer. I'm also the SPO of Natalie together with Ada. I'm an active member of the Climate Neutral Cardano Alliance. We're an alliance of stakeholders striving to make Cardano a blockchain, let's say carbon neutral blockchain, by not just running our nodes on let's say renewable energies, but also by supporting projects that offset the carbon footprint. Today, I have the immense pleasure to introduce you to the CNCL project. It's a permaculture project that is boosted by a unique ISPO and is the first ISPO that is implementing the impact staking model in the world. So after founding the Cardano Forest together with LinkTree and the Cardano community, we were working for our next project to support. Here's where we found the TT Casala NGO in Madagascar. They previously collaborated with the French government, and we then identified these problems in Madagascar: deforestation, droughts, and hunger. And we also, of course, realized that the all donation model is not working. So this project is quite ambitious, but it's also very, very beautiful because it has so many, let's say, tangents. We're first gonna plant 100,000 key trees that are producing food. This means this will provide food security to the locals and also will improve their finance problems. This will also regenerate soils, and we will also send farmers' children to school to learn also about permaculture. And of course, we are going to offset further the Cardano's carbon footprint. To boost this, or to amplify this, we're going to use an ISPO model to improve the donation model that we're used to actually use. And the idea is to make this as easy and convenient for the people to join by just staking. So what we're proposing here is to support this project by earning. So with this ISPO, you get to keep all your data. You don't have to give it away. On top of that, you're going to receive CNC tokens, the unique NFTs from our partners. And last but not least, you will become a change maker with stake. So basically, this is a very, very new way of solving problems in a decentralized way. And our vision is to see that this model spreads within the ecosystem, that we see other alliances of pools, and not just in Cardano, but in other proof of stake chains to imitate this model and to start solving problems in a decentralized way while earning. So now you don't have to convince millions to actually donate and run into debt by supporting a project, but rather they earn by staking with your pool And you just have to convince a few stakeholder operators that are conscious enough to understand that we can harness the proof of stake consensus and take this money that we earn as a validators to actually support this kind of projects. So, and the ISPO is starting next week. So we're looking for SPOs to join this efforts to make this proof of stake a full successful Cardano, to showcase the capabilities of this community and this project. And also we're looking for delegators. So if you have ADA, please join and become a impact staking pioneers. And if not, you can also talk to your SPOs to join us. So yeah, I hope you like it and plan history with us.
If you put a slide forward, we'll know exactly what it is.
Of course.
Hi, my name is Seán Murphy. I'm the co-founder of Impact Scope. We're newcomers to the Cardano ecosystem. Yoram is our guardian and connection to the community. Even though we're newcomers to the Cardano ecosystem, we're not newcomers to building applications, Web3 tools to tokenize, monetize, display, and track impact. We've been around for about 2 years, and we've built several Web3 tools on other chains. We started off building carbon offsetting applications for cryptocurrency exchanges. Our clients were large European NFT platforms, metaverses, North American crypto mining companies. We processed the environmental impact of over 1.5 million on-chain transactions over multiple protocols. We also have one of our tools is the most precise historical carbon footprint calculator. It's free to use, open source. You can go to calculator.impactscope.com. You can enter any single wallet address across multiple chains, and it will calculate the historical carbon footprint of your wallet from the first transaction to the most recent transaction. Upcoming integration with ADA addresses coming soon as well. So we don't just build applications for climate action tools. Some of you may know in the most recent Catalyst round, we had a proposal for an impact dashboard for impact projects, specifically geared towards staking pool operators. It's great to see a huge amount of impact-focused projects gravitating towards the Cardano ecosystem and building on Cardano. But there has to be a uniform way of analyzing the impact metrics for those projects to compare the actual impact increased across them side by side. How am I 2 minutes left? Good. We're talking about opportunities for impact on Cardano, and one of the most fascinating tools for tracking and displaying impact on Cardano are dynamic proof of impact NFTs. Without wanting to get too technical, the new meta standards introduced by Cardano Improvement Proposal 0068 and 67 now make it much easier to connect dynamic NFTs with off-chain real-world oracles to basically channel increases in impact data and display them in the form of dynamic NFTs over time. Our use case partner is a plastic recycling company in northern Uganda called Taka Plastics. They're an award-winning social enterprise. They employ 40 plastic pickers, full-time and 30 part-time. We help them enter the impact that they create, the amount of plastic collected, the amount of products molded and extruded from that collected plastic into a very simple UI, which is channeled to dynamic NFTs over time at defined intervals. The achieved impact can be reflected in the NFT to give extra value to the NFT and make it an ideal mechanism for tracking impact on Cardano. So if anyone here is looking for a partner to help track their impact and use dynamic NFTs, we'd be happy to partner. We're also looking for partners to develop the impact dashboard for staking pools. So we find these are two great opportunities on Cardano right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. And thank you everyone for joining us. Amazing to see all you beautiful souls here. My name is Raz Cole. I'm co-founder of Sustainable ADA.
Hi, I'm Cole Bartlett, another co-founder of Sustainable ADA. And getting into Sustainable ADA really started from a lack of education and communication on how blockchain can connect to sustainability. And we work to connect the dots between blockchain, sustainable development, and Cardano. And we're highlighting stories and use cases of projects building in the ecosystem with boots on the ground and trying to spread the word on how this stuff can actually make a difference. We also are inspiring hope through action.
Talking about inspiring hope through action. Put your hands up if you feel like you want to make the world a better place. Put your hands up if you feel like you've ever tried to convince or talk to your family and friends about how to get involved in doing that, how to actually make the world a better place. Hands up if you know about all the opportunities in Cardano to do that and are doing that. Right? So this is where we're trying to I'm really honored to share the room with such inspiring people here and talking about connecting the dots. So I have a background as a teacher. I used to teach geography, history, politics, and economics in the UK, in France, and Indonesia. And one thing I've noticed, and perhaps you've heard about the latest study from UNESCO, over 70% of national curriculums do not talk about climate change, climate justice, social justice. 17,000 youth in a recent poll have said they want to see that in their classrooms. Over 90% of teachers don't know how to teach that to their youth. So we have a problem, right? So I left the classroom and I met Cole, and we have been supported by this wonderful community with the world's largest decentralized innovation fund called Project Catalyst. And we've been looking at this ecosystem. So here are just a few examples of the research we've carried out, talking about impact. And that's been a common theme in this summit, impact. What is impact? We need to talk about that. Sustainable goals token, without going into the jargon, this is how we communicate to our youngsters, our parents, our grandparents, using language that's understandable so that we learn through storytelling how we can be part of the solution, how we can have hope. Because as you perhaps seen in political systems, more and more people are not voting, more and more people are suffering from mental health challenges, and we're trying to be part of pushing that information wider to the masses.
And as you can see, there's a lot of impact in the Cardano ecosystem, but it's hard to visualize that impact and it's hard to really see that impact. So something that we're doing is creating the Cardano Impact Report. It will be a yearly report focused on all the impact organizations and projects and the good that's happening in this ecosystem. And we really just want to thank you all. If it wasn't for Project Catalyst and this amazing community, we wouldn't be here today. And thank you.
If you'd like to learn more about the projects in this community, having a positive impact, please follow us. Yeah, we're having all our stories published online. And we have the great honor to announce that there is a new podcast, the Dream Weavers podcast, being led by Dr. Mahela, Strategic Impact Lead. And she's already interviewed some incredible individuals in this community. Some of you may recognize Charles Hoskinson. And please follow us to see more such interviews, because there will be, as perhaps those of you who were attending the gala dinner last night, the esteemed colleagues who won awards will also be part of this podcast. And hopefully some of you here today who are doing amazing things as well will be part of that communication, that storytelling, to tell the world what we're doing and that there is actually hope through action. Thank you.
So, hi everybody. I get the real bit, because we've already had you guys with the planet-sized brains, and we've got you guys with all the love and all the impact stuff. So all I have to do is just tie it up. You always told me for 4 minutes. which is cool, because that's way too much time. Yeah. So what I've done here, you don't really need to know what we do, but basically we help them toolkits. These words are from me, because my brain's too small, don't rewrite it, that's fine. That's good. That's all. What I do need some help with. Can you give me a minute? No, just tell me a minute.
I'll do that.
No. No, you're big. Give us 3 minutes, and then you'll throw some. So I need to hit the button thing. And that's it. So we have done these slides before, so they have been in the catalyst coordinators, and I think we've done a talk at Dart, thanks to Yoram. So what's it all about? The people have said what the issues are. This is what most people do today. Yeah, commercial operations. You do sales and marketing, you do day job, you do customer service. This is what you're doing tomorrow in the commercial space. So this is when you're going to get your facts to production. When you're going to get facts to production. And this is the lens here is commercial. Yeah. The problem is most people don't understand how to see different lenses or measure things. So this is all about the money. So it's commercial. The measurement is money, and the end game is wealth. That's fine. In the past, when we made things like trains, that worked. Yeah, when we made beans, not so bad. These days, though, the guys who live here, so this is people who want to make money today. This is people who want to make money tomorrow. The problem that happens, you're a star. The problem that happens here is, on this side, this is the cultural side. This is when things are about people doing things today, training, HR, employee engagement. This is around performance strategies and the wonderful things you do that build assets that are not measured in money. And this is stuff like leadership, succession planning, knowledge management. So what the problem is, here is now only worth 20% of the value of an enterprise. Here it's worth 80%. So that's the first problem we have. And this is measured by these guys. 80% of the value that's added to an enterprise is not measurable in cash terms. We're not going to discuss that much more. Wonderful guys are doing that already. The next bit that happens then, now you need to understand, okay, why are you doing stuff? So this orange bit sits above. So those are our lenses. The next problem we have, humans are rubbish at understanding time. So we don't measure time very well. So again, impact today for tomorrow, most people don't understand. Yeah. Also in there, we don't understand exponential. So we do little things today. We don't understand the impact they'll have next week, next month, next year. So that's the game plan, really. That's what you guys have to play with. I am going to berate you a bit because I'm a coach and that's what we do. So in here then, if we now play and we say we've got individuals, teams, organizations, communities, societies, and planet, that's your entities. On this side, we've got what gets you in the room. Yeah, and this is Grace's gig. So profit, planet, people, performance, purpose. So if you can do that, you can be a billionaire. Thank you. 2 minutes.
One.
Bloody hell. Yeah. You can be a billionaire, but the issue is, if you're a billionaire, are you screwing people to get there, basically? So now your homework and your gig is to say, with all these brilliant things we've had, where do you guys live on here? So firstly, Catalyst lives in here because Catalyst is part of the product. Yeah, all the stuff you guys do is part of the product of IOG, Emergo, CF, and Cardano. Cardano is the physical product, but you're part of that product because you're building the systems of it. So, issue here is that's FTX down here. What Cardano and Catalyst are trying to do is build from here and build trust to build a thing that's going to last for every time. And when it's done it, move across to have that in our soft squidgy space that's harder to measure. There are brilliant people who measure things now, but use more. So for you guys then, very quickly, where does Wada live? Is Mercy still here? Is she gone? So Wada, what are they doing? Locally, they're working with firms and they're working with community hubs. But globally, if we do this one, globally, what are they up to? They're working at a society level to build and change things. So let's do yours. Where do you live? Figure that out. Right. Is your impact at a planetary level, society level, community level, organization level? It's a planetary level. Right. This gets harder. It's easy to work with an individual. It's okay to work with community. It's all right to work with society, a country. It's hard to change planet. So it serves you right, really, when you're having trouble and big challenges. Pick an easy one. Do something that gets someone another Lambo. This is the stuff he does. So he's gone, but when we've got, well, let's do littlefish. Where do you live? On where? Ecosystems in the channel. You're helping change this. You're building a different model of how things run. So you start here. Everyone does everything here, yeah? You all do this, but it's where do you live? Where's your context? Your context, I would say, is you're building a channel to the outside world, but you're building a channel that builds inside. So you're doing inside out, outside in. So a couple more.
Landano, I would put us in the top right, I would say. Product positioning, commercial strategy.
Yeah. You're building this.
Yeah.
You're doing systems.
Yeah.
You're building knowledge management that sits in there, but it's systems, and then you're back into influencing the society and the planet. And the same for all the guys. You're one, yeah, you're just got large, haven't you? Yeah, when you start to measure stuff, you're measuring all that. Yeah. So the gig here for all of you is just to put yourselves and start to think about boxes. Why do you need that? Because these guys don't talk the same language as these guys, or these guys, or these guys. So part of the gig for you, your homework is to go away, work out where you are, yeah, and we'll give you the detailed version. Work out where you are, then work out what the value is, and then work out how do you explain your value in their language. We're going to do C4C. Right, where's C4C? No, we're going to do C4C because Yoram's here. Where does C4C live?
Intent.
Relationship.
That's the brilliant, because this bit,
relationship.
it's like a pyramid. So this lot sits out here. Why do you guys have such fun in C4C? Why does Yoram and the rest of you have such fun as a clown? Because you're trying to do the whole lot. You're trying to influence this and build that. And comms are hard. But that's the challenge. That's where the emergence come from. That's where DeFi comes from. That's everything. Grace is in the energy percent. Over to you. Thanks very much.
Good. Imagine that we actually did it in 1 hour. Right? And bravo for everyone. I think we're going to organize it and monitor it. And I want to say there's a lot of people actually watching us also online. I want to thank all of them and to all the C4C and to all the community helping us do it and arrange it and coordinate all of that. And as you know, we always say in C4C, this is only the beginning, right? There's so much to do, and each one can be part of that and help to do it and grow. And I mean, the project that we saw here today, they are so amazing in so many aspects, and each one of them can make so much impact on this blockchain. And together, we can make this blockchain really focus on what's important, making an impact and bringing more and more technology and people to achieve that. We have a huge opportunity, and thank you all of that.
There's Natalie.
Yeah, Melanie.
You guys knocked it out of the park.
Hey, now we can hear you.
Awesome. You guys knocked it out of the park. Come closer so we can see you. Come, squeeze in.
Yeah,
Come great.
And let's see. Yeah, I might have muted everybody else, but fabulous, you guys. Fabulous.
You're part of this.
Okay, now I've unmuted. I think I've unmuted everybody so we can say something to you. And you're live streaming to YouTube, and my dog's barking.
Hello, YouTube.
Okay, fabulous. Hey, Phil, I like to see him. Come on in, you guys. You're not in the screen. Come in behind Simon. Keep squeezing in, you guys. This is fantastic. Mercy, so good to see you. I'm really jealous that I'm not there, but that's okay. You know, this is okay. You guys are there. Beautiful, beautiful. Anything else anybody else wants to say? Newman?
Everybody.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. Okay, we're going to stay around for a little bit. We're going to stay around for a little bit if anybody wants to talk to us. Otherwise, it's all good. Hey, Cole.
Hey, all right. Thank you so much for watching and participating and listening in.
Yeah, this is really good.
It's been
Really,
an
really
awesome event. It's been kind of crazy, but it's been super fun.
It's been a little bit silent. It's a little bit silent. You know, you guys haven't really been checking in too much, but that's okay. I understand you're busy.
Yeah, it's been a little crazy, but so good to see you